I am joined by Janelle Gaeta, act, actor, writer, producer,
Uh, Mostly actor, writer, comedian.
actor, writer, comedian, all around badass.
Yeah, absolutely. So timing is everything, as they say. I actually finally booted up my Twitter for the first time, probably 6 months or so, and started to get all of these notifications and alerts and things like that. And one of them was from T3 Media. It was in reference to a commercial that I had done for Freshly, and I retweeted because I'm hip to that sort of thing now.
Okay. Oh,
And in that, we had connected and we're talking and thought it might be a good idea for us to get on the line and chat. Actually, funny enough, I hadn't even seen the request for an interview. My father reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I saw that somebody asked you to do it." And I had it. So thank God for my father being my PR manager.
from your high school experience, was there a moment during that time when did you know then that you already wanted to be an actor, or was it sooner than that? Was it well after that, or do you have a story that kind of connects that dot from high school to Hollywood? Like, what was the high school experience for you? Like, what high school did you go to?
So to Montville Township High School. I remember I tried auditioning for the school play, but I couldn't take part in it because I was an athlete. So I couldn't do the spring musical because I had softball. I couldn't do the fall play because I was playing volleyball. And I just never really thought that world was available to me. But I always knew that there was something about creating, about the arts, about performing that I was always drawn to.
Right.
As a kid, my mom had bought this entire bin of dresses and clothes from thrift shops, and I would always put them on and put on shows and make videos and things like that. So it's been in my bones since I was a little kid to be a performer and want to entertain people. And I did a little bit of that as a singer throughout high school. So even though I couldn't take part in the plays, I sang the national anthem at all of my sporting events. I cut this very embarrassing CD that my mother gave out at my high school graduation to everybody, and I still can't live that down.
So wait, you were also an athlete. So did you sing at the sporting events you were playing in?
Sometimes,
Mm.
sometimes I have pictures of me in my full softball uniform singing the national anthem.
And then, but you said it didn't really happen for you during the high school. Like you said you auditioned for plays, but you could never really take part in them.
I couldn't take part because the rehearsals were the same times as the as my practice. Kind of in my heart to do that, and when I graduated high school, I actually ended up going to a singing competition down in Florida. They mandated that I take part in two events, and so I chose acting. I ended up getting involved with this agency that casts for background and extras, and my first job was on The Sopranos. So I was just background on The Sopranos. I was actually the cue for James Gandolfini to start his line. It was like when I reached a certain point, that's when he would start his action.
Right.
And just being on set in that way and having that experience and being around all of this incredible talent and the crew, it inspired me in a way that I really couldn't find before this point. In high school, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do for the rest of your life? I never really knew. And it wasn't until I found my way, stumbled really, and it found me on acting that I really knew what made me so happy. Because you're sitting on that set for 12 plus hours, and it felt like 15 minutes for me. So that was kind of where, in my opinion, I caught the bug. And from there, I just kind of developed slowly into, where I'm at today in my career and continuing to build on that moving forward.
What was the after high school when you were on that journey? Like you said, you were an extra in Sopranos, and I saw on your website.
Yes, Unforgettable. It was
Unforgettable.
Montgomery and Dylan Walsh. Yeah, that was That was a lot of fun to do that.
Mm.
I played a Staten Island mob wife.
Ooh.
Very, very long character stretch for me. Very long character stretch. It's not like that character is not right underneath the surface being an Italian from New Jersey. But it was, it was fun to really dive into caricaturizing,
Hmm.
this woman and really like embracing the absurdity of her world and getting to wear all of the crazy costumes and being in a trailer and being brought to set, like the whole experience of the behind the scenes of being a part of a production in that way
Mm.
really was like just so incredibly motivating and inspiring and made me just hungry for more of that. Every aspiring actor has the day job, and it makes it so hard to go back to that when you have that kind of experience on a set.
Exactly. And you do well. You also do stand up too. So what? I mean, what's that like? I mean, I I wanted to sit down and just watch as much as I can, and I didn't get to watch much of the stand up. But do you do stand up like regularly, or is there like a location you go to every now and then and just and perform or
Well, regular is an interesting term to use nowadays. What is regular
right?
anymore? There's no regular way to do anything anymore. But, I have always gravitated towards comedy in any capacity. So I found my way to stand up a couple of years ago. I wanted to do something that scared me.
Mm.
Give me a script and put me in front of a camera, and that's where I feel the most comfortable. But tell me to write something that I think is funny, that I think somebody else is going to think is funny too, and then stand up there by myself with the microphone and say it and hope that it is. That's terrifying.
What was that first day like?
It's, I realized that comedy is an economy of words. It
Mm.
is getting to the point as quickly as possible and cutting the fat, so to speak, getting out all of the ums and the idioms that we have in our natural language to set up what you're trying to say and then deliver the punchline as quickly as possible. And I'm much more storytelling in the delivery of my stand up. I talk a lot about my life, about my family, and kind of string it all together into a cohesive set. I've worked at Dangerfields, at Caroline's, Broadway Comedy Club, Greenwich Village Comedy Club.
Mm.
I've also done improv and sketch comedy at the People's Improv Theater. I was on a couple of house teams there. So what I've realized in this business is you're only in control of so much. And while I might not be in control of the phone ringing, from Scorsese or whoever is doing the next big thing, what I do have control of is getting my butt on stage,
Right.
is doing the work, is providing myself the opportunity to invite people to come see what I do and to really enjoy the process in doing it. So I put myself, in the position to take part in these comedic adventures, and it's been great just for kind of fulfilling me artistically as I'm continuing on this journey through the entertainment industry, but also it's boded well for my commercial journey as well. They love real people. You get a lot of castings that say real people, a lot of breakdowns that list that, and they love people who come from the comedic world. So I've gotten a lot of opportunities, not only from freshly being out and about everywhere, but also because I have some of those skills and tools in my tool belt to be able to think quickly on my feet.
Right.
So it's been helpful.
That makes sense. I was just thinking I would think that's a a key thing for I guess when people are looking for talent. I mean, if you're willing to you're willing to put yourself out there on stage, that means that I mean she's already gone through like one of the probably like the biggest fears that most people have, like public speaking, things like that. But if you're because I know I would freeze up if I was on stage like that. So yeah, that makes sense. That so after you started doing stand up, that's when you said a little more opportunities here and there started opening up to you.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly what you said about kind of letting go of the fear. There's always a little bit of fear when it comes to the unknown, when it comes to putting yourself out there in that way. And for me, even though I sang the national anthem at all of the sporting events and, did all of that, I suffered with severe anxiety about performing in front of people. Like, my mom would say, go ahead and sing for grandma. And I would make everybody turn around and not look at me
Yeah.
in the room. I had severe performance anxiety, like cripplingly so. So to overcome that, I'm constantly searching for ways to step outside of myself and my own, insecurities, which we all have, and pushing myself to do the scary thing and get past that so that I can grow. And the only thing that I can hope is that in doing so, that's something that translates on camera and keeps, adding more opportunity.
What I recommend, I just play that old Rocky song or from the Karate Kid. You're the best around. That pumps me up no matter what. My wife is like, babe, can whatever she wants me to do, you have to cut the grass, whatever the task is that I'm too lazy to do. I have to just psych myself up with some Karate Kid theme, some Rocky. I mean, that does it each and every time. I know everybody's different, but I mean, it's always some music that'll get me going. I'm a music guy, so like if I get a good theme song from like Short Circuit, the movie, remember the robot movie? Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Short Circuit too. Yeah, whatever the theme is, I'm telling you, that's me. But
Listen,
what you're talking about?
Major League Baseball had a thing like that once. It's only weird if it doesn't work with all the superstitions and
Yes, exactly. And so yeah, you're definitely braver than I probably ever could be. I also had a lot of stage fright. Believe it or not, I'm a very very shy person, and only recently did I forced myself to kind of like break out of that habit. I forced myself to start the YouTube channel and just keep talking and just I felt like if I just keep doing it, eventually it'll get comfortable. I'll get better at it, but um, I'm able to fake it, I guess. But I'm always very 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 shy. But I try to. This is just a character that you're seeing. This cool awkward guy that you're seeing right here is a total character. So all right. So when the character goes, I mean, when the camera goes off, I shut down. I'm just I don't know how to explain it, but I
well, he's in you, obviously, because you're here doing it. So, I think there's something to be said about doing the thing that scares you most because it's
it's a
what
good
you care about the most. And, if you're inspired to go and do this and bring this to the world, then you got to just do it and
yeah,
see
just
what
have
happens.
fun. That's it. That's the topics that I wanted to just go over with you. I appreciate you taking the time out to chit chat with me on the show
Thanks for
and talk
having me.
about what's going on with the news. If people want to look you up online, where can they find you online besides before you like invade their TVs every 5 minutes on the day?
You want to find me or run and hide from me, I'm on your television. You can also find me on Instagram at Janelle Gaeta, Twitter as well at Janelle Gaeta. And anything that I have coming up or that is going on, I usually post on there. So come check it out and say hi.
Awesome. I appreciate you once again for letting us. We gotta have you back one of these. Maybe with me, you, and Amy, we can. It's more fun when Amy's here. I'm the boring one
You're
of the group.
fantastic. You are a lot of fun.
I am. I just wanted to fish for that compliment, and you passed. You totally passed. I'm like, no. But I appreciate you having the time to talk with me, guys. Go check out Janelle. She's awesome.